viewers, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, brewing coffee, boiling tea, getting the kids to school, or you're on your way to work yourself, top of the morning to you. Hope you're having a very, very, very good one on this Tuesday morning. Yeah.
Yeah. You
Mm-hmm.
good?
Yeah, man, I'm a good man.
Are you ready?
Huh?
You ready?
Yeah, man, let's
Let's
go now.
go. Let's go.
So wait, I do your attack.
Today's Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. All right. Here's how we're going to do this now. The government is coming under pressure as Melissa starts to soak the impact of Melissa. Well, it has soaked and dried in many places, literally and figuratively. And many people are, it's almost as if the criticism was pre-positioned because you almost know what it is that would have been said to say, well, you can't do this and you can't do that. I hear people saying, why you never go here first? Why it take you so long to go there? And these are legitimate questions. I mean, if it is that an area has been relatively ignored compared to somewhere else, then it's fair comment to say, well, why has it taken you so long to go here? I've already spoken about the access challenges, and I feel kind of cute saying it because I'm saying, well, who needs to be convinced in this time that there have been access challenges for the authorities? So those are facts about access challenges. But still people are raising the issue of access and why you're not here yet and why you only go there. And there's no place that the government has gone at the expense of everywhere else. It has been everywhere. Corridors have been open and people have been in, but the criticism is coming now. I've heard the opposition leader now saying that, there shouldn't be one channel for the aid because that creates a natural bottleneck. And, the people are in desperate need. And of course, he's right. The people are in desperate need. I don't know that there's one channel of aid, though, because the government is doing its relief work. Civil society and just society in general have organized themselves. The churches are doing a tremendous amount. Shout out to Father Sean Major Campbell at Christ Church for the work that he and his team are doing and have been doing, even to help people prepare for Melissa. So the church has been doing a lot. Private businesses have been doing a lot. Citizens forming themselves into groups, almost like what the political super PACs in the USA, where they get money and they get things done. That's what's been happening. So a lot of that has been happening. So the observation that one channel of aid is counterproductive or one channel of aid will cause a bottleneck, I can understand why it is being said. And, in these times, I want people to take the air out of the football. This is one of the times when I want you to take the air out of the football. Don't see everything through a political prism. See it, put yourself in the position of the opposition leader and ask yourself, well, what would you reasonably call for or be agitating for? You want to be saying things and asking for things that can make the delivery of aid quicker and make the process more streamlined. And he's just putting ideas on the table to get that done. Of course, many people are shouting down his ideas because of the same partisan politics I'm speaking about. And the fact is that by his own conduct, Mr. Golding has not helped himself in these matters to get the sympathy and the understanding of the broad cross-section of Jamaicans who are not dead-eyed supporters of his political party. And that's a problem, as we saw manifest on September 3. But notwithstanding that, what he's saying, I don't hear much, if anything, to really be upset about, because in this time, he's just looking at the processes and saying, well, perhaps if we do this or that, we could get better results.
And there's a concern, George, because, and I'll make bold to say, I disagree as it relates to giving a member of parliament $50 million.
100%.
I disagree with that suggestion. But the other suggestions are really in the face of this opposition leader who has members of parliament who are in hard seats right now as it relates to, how they were struck by Hurricane Melissa. And I listened intently to the press conference last evening. Zulika just, for example, saying, she had to go in and do something despite, being told not to engage in the contractors, but people were starving and people were marooned. She had to make a judgment call. Nikisha Burchell, she also gave some insight as to what was happening into her constituency. And I get the sense, George, that as a member of parliament, when you find a way to get into those marooned communities and those people are looking at you for an answer, it is also very hard to leave them with only the line that I haven't heard from government, or I haven't heard from an agency, or I haven't heard from this or that. And so I'm in total agreement with the fact that the opposition leader rightly has to call for, some support on his side as it relates to getting some aid in what might be or seems to be, I don't know if we're judging by social media or by what the members of parliament are saying, some areas that have been forgotten in the grand scheme of things.
How can areas be forgotten so
You know.
soon in the recovery effort is the question I'm asking.
Exactly.
That's not a,
So-
people who make that point are not being fair. Forgotten. Today's Tuesday. Today, at this time, I was making the point yesterday, but that was before. At 6:40 today, Melissa's hurricane force winds were not yet impacting Jamaica.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when people say, and I know it's not your line, when people say areas are forgotten,
Right.
that's not true.
Right. But I can also understand, though, George, notwithstanding it not being true, that the members of parliament who are there, who say, and I'm working with what they're saying now, because I'm not on the ground there, that they have not seen any agency or any government relief, going into that specific community. They may feel forgotten, notwithstanding the grand and the unbiased fact, George, that we do not have the apparatus to go into every single stricken community all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah? And that has to be balanced with the fact as well that there may be people marooned in these very communities who also have dire needs, just like every other community across all the other parishes that have been affected by Melissa.
Nothing is false with what you say. The funny thing is, though, even in St. Elizabeth, where people are making it seem, it's almost that people are setting up on St. Elizabeth now to say, oh, you get all of the treatment.
But there's still some communities there that are still
and that's
marooned.
exactly the point I'm making, because there are people who will tell you that, George, several parts of St. Elizabeth have not seen any, well, there are parts of St. Elizabeth, several a couple of days ago, I don't know if the number is still the same, but there are parts where they haven't seen anybody, despite the attention that has been given to other parts of the same parish. So when an MP says this community has not seen a relief worker or a state agent or any relief coordinator or provider, then it is that you have to manage the expectations of your constituents. And I know that these are extraordinarily difficult times, and it's easy for me to say so. But I'm saying this comes back to listeners, viewers. You know what this is? This is the promise and commitment trap. Here's what I'm talking about. Members of parliament, councillors at the municipal corporations, when they are seeking the vote, they make it seem as if they have the answer to every problem that you have or you will have. Anything, just call me, I will get it done. Many of them have never been tested in the way that Melissa is now providing a test. And many of them have not been tested in the way that certainly Gilbert provided a test, or even Beryl provided a test. Now, those words that you uttered to get the vote, to get people to bid, put on them clothes and trek to a polling station to give you an X because you promised them that when we get work for you and work, vote for me, you will get work. You pick the Naga school, vote for me, and you'll be able to afford to send your child to school. This you need a road there, so you need light, you need water, your house want to fix up this, that, vote for me, and I will get the relevant authorities or use my connections to get these things sorted for you. That's the promise that was given to the people. No, there is a disaster on a gargantuan scale. We have to use extraordinary descriptors now, not the regular ones. Gargantuan scale the disaster is on. And those promises are finally being put to the test. And the constituent who you promised that you will be able to use your finger, not even a wand, you wave it 5 times and water turns into champagne. That is now being put to the test, and that is the problem that some of our representatives have. Because, Saeed, if you go into a community that is depressed, you will say to them, know that I have the access. I have seen what your needs are. Before me, there was no way of knowing the scale of the damage here because communication was limited. I am now I'm leaving here now, and I'm telling the state agencies, we have 800 people here or 300 people here, this is the situation, and within hours or days or whatever, they will come, and I have little water here for permanent temporary relief, but the agencies are come because I have come before them and I have told them that this is the situation, they are coming. That's the communication, because MPs don't have the power that they purport to have when they are looking to vote.
Right.
The power is not real.
Which brings me to another point, George, because there's this idea as well that, fine, I think MP should get some amount of money in order to do some immediate relief work and some things, not the 50 million, right? But at the same time, you can't have your cake and eat it. And here's where I'm going. The Integrity Commission released a statement to say that they're watching. Essentially, that's what they're saying. We're watching, yeah? Notwithstanding it's an emergency, we're watching.
Yes. As it should say it's watching.
As it should say. It was prudent of Prime Minister Holness before Melissa hit to say, listen, we're in an emergency, we will be in an emergency, but this is not a break from procurement protocols.
Yes.
It can't be that you want to, on one hand, and this is a dichotomy that has to be managed by government, because it can be their downfall.
Yes.
Yeah? A scandal comes out of this, that monies were mismanaged, it will be their downfall. So it can't be that you want them to wantonly send out loads of cash. Right?
Run the food.
Just run the food.
Run
Just
the food.
Send out these loads of cash. And again, not being insensitive to the issues on the ground. You want them to send out these loads of cash to different people. And then, on the back end, months later, where was the money?
It's a trap.
How was it spent?
It's a trap.
All of that. Yeah? And I think it comes back to this idea, and this is why political culture is important, George, because if we had the political culture of trust and accountability, for whatever reason we don't have it, I won't get into that now, you could, and you might feel more comfortable doing that. But in this environment, notwithstanding a disaster, George, it would be devastating, probably as worse as Hurricane Melissa, if the government decided, you know what, give them the cash, we need to get relief. And then a year from now, there's a report in Parliament. Billions misspent. A scandal erupts from it. And it leads to the downfall of a government. You're in government now, you're a prime minister, and you have to now think, one, how do you sustain your government? Because at the end of the day, that's the reality. How do you sustain your government and still get the help with the proper channels? And a part of that script has also been, trying to have your cake and eat it by the very members of Parliament as well.
So what Mr. Golding says, put $3 billion, $3,150,000,000, so $3.15 billion in the hands directly of the MPs now. I can't imagine that is it, because I would imagine that Mr. Golding would think that why would the member of parliament for East Central St. Andrew need 50 million? Because nothing happened at East Central St. Andrew.
Well, to be fair to him, I don't know if I interpreted correctly, but it was supposed to be scaled based on the damage. Or
No,
something
but
like
scaling would mean it's not 50. But
some would be getting more than the 50 million.
Not even that. No, but it can't be scaled. But that's not the scaling I picked up. Maybe you picked up that. But what I did pick up was that he's saying give the MPs 50 million. I don't want to misquote him or carry the line that he didn't. So I'm imagining that he's saying give 50 million to the MPs in the worst affected parishes. All right, so leave it there. All right, fine. So the MPs in the worst affected parishes, just give them 50 million and work from there. Mr. Golding, that's a recipe for disaster. You've been a corruption crusader since you stepped up to the position of opposition leader. That's been one of your 2 or 3 best dub plates in your dub plate box. I'm certain, on reflection and in a quiet moment, you will see the folly of that, even as we accept the essence of your message that aid needs to reach faster and aid needs to be sustained until people get up, and that MPs should be in a position to point their constituents to things being done to ameliorate the conditions that they find themselves in. So I'm doing all of that to say I don't want to be dismissive of what you say any at all, and I'm not going to follow those who just hear trigger anything you say, just cuss, cuss, cuss. No, because I see the utility in what you say. But 50 million in the hands of, no, sir, not my money. I'm sorry.